All right, so here's my my Elite 110. So this is my second one. My first one I sold to a friend of mine. So this is my second one. So that's why it has. You look at the mileage; it's low mileage. When I sold my first one, I had over 76,000 miles. So this one is gonna be 12,000 miles soon. But anyways, it's a 2010, so it's basically 10 years now. So I'm just having a starting problem. I went to Tahoe this last weekend, and on the way back, it had starting problems. So this happened before on my other scooter, so that's why I knew right away what it was. So pay attention to usually when you first turn on the key here, and my kill switch is on, right? So kill off, engine on, right? So check engine light. So usually when you turn on the key, the check engine light will turn on. When that turns on, you will hear, you also hear the fuel pump. So the fuel pump will prime for like like 2 seconds or so. So this will light on. Then after this light turns off, the fuel pump also turns off as well. So let's see if I can replicate this or not. It was happening pretty continuously, I think. So let's try this. Just turn it on, and look at the light here. Okay, see that? That's normal, right? So that's normal. So if I turn this off and I turn it back on, it'll do the same thing again. Okay, that's normal again. So when I was at Tahoe, see that? I'm not even turning it off. I'm just kind of pressing down on there. Oops, kind of pressing down a little bit. See that? It shouldn't do that, because once it's on, once it's on, it makes the contact, and when you turn it off, it basically breaks the contact. So this is a switch, right? So on means contact, off means contact's broken, connected or disconnected. So when I keep on pressing this on, like so, and all of a sudden the light comes on, that's because the contact, when it's on, it's corroded. So when it's touching, it's not fully touching. So as I'm pushing this, it's kind of moving a little bit, and it's moving to a spot where it's corroded spot where there's no continuity than there is. So that's why the light turned on and off. So if you have a problem starting, or where you turn on the key and this is on, and also you pay attention to here, and it doesn't turn on the full 2 seconds or whatever it is. It's like kind of on and off a little bit, kind of spotty. It's kind of on and off a little bit. Chances are it's your switch here. So and all you have to do is do the same test that I'm doing right now. Just basically kind of press it a little bit, and if it's kind of spotty or even off, then on a few times. And pay attention to the light to see if the light's constantly on, or if it's kind of spotty on and off or whatever. Then it's this switch. So you need to replace the switch, or somehow clean up the corrosion that's on the contact. Again, this is pretty low mileage, but the bike is 10 years old. So the switch, I believe, the contacts are corroded. My old one, when I had it, I had taken this off, or taken this apart, or taking the switch off, and the way that the switch is made, you can't get to the contacts. You can't get to it and and wire brush it or whatever. It's just basically all just one unit. It's just all one piece. It's possible that you can break it apart, and that means you will have to glue it back together. And I didn't try that with the old switch. Maybe I should have. But anyways, I just ordered a new switch. And what I'm gonna try to do with this one, once I get the new one, I'm gonna get the new one, take this off, and put the new one on. But what I'm gonna try to do with this old one is I'm gonna try the electrolysis cleaning method. See if it works on this. I never tried that, so I'm not sure. I think it will. Principally, it should work the same. what that is basically, it's basically how you clean rust on on steel. You basically put you have water with some baking wash. Water with baking wash, mix the baking wash in there. Then you use basically a battery charger, just a regular battery charger, not those smart chargers, just a regular battery chargers, and set it on the lower ampage, and you connect the negative side on what you want to clean. Then you connect the positive side on another piece of metal, preferably you could probably just use steel, piece of metal. Then you put those both into the solution, the baking wash solution, and you make sure that your positive and negative side don't touch each other. So the current should go through the solution. So when you do that, hopefully it will clean out this. It will clean out the corrosion out here, but because that's how you remove the rust. So the rust is on the negative side, and it will actually clean off. It will actually come off of the part that you clamp the negative terminal on, and whereas the positive terminal, what happened will the rest will come off the negative side, and it will actually attach to the positive side. So both sides has, the negative side will be clamped onto the part that you want to clean. Then the positive side will be clamped on a sacrificial part, basically, which is just just a piece of metal, like put in like a whatever, some scrap metal you have, and you have to make sure that it's bare, so it's not painted or nothing like that. If it's painted, that blocks the current. So that's the electrolysis method. So once I get my new switch, I could experiment if that method works on this switch or not. But anyways, so on my old bike that happened on here, and it also happened on my old bike. It also happened with the headlight and high beam and low beam switch too. For a while, my high beam and low switch is at night when I'm riding, especially really dark places like going through the mountains. There's no street lights or nothing, so I usually, and also through the twisties, I use a high beam. And sometimes when this is corroded, or on my old bike, my last bike, when it got corroded, I turn on the high beam and it wouldn't, sometimes there was nothing. It would just be black because there's no the contact points were corroded, so there was no electricity passing through. So also my light would go out. So I'm, oh shoot, I'm gonna turn back. And that was also corroded too. Both sides corroded, and I'm like, oh shoot, this side's black too, and it's like pitch dark. So here I'm like going back and forth, and it's pitch dark. And one time I did go off the road because of that, and I rode into a ditch. Luckily, by the time I got into the ditch, I was slow enough that it was basically walking pace, and I didn't get hurt, or the bike didn't fall over or anything. I was still sitting there with both legs out, standing up, basically holding the bike up. So after that incident, I basically bought a new switch for my previous bike. So since this is happening on this side, I'm pretty sure it will happen on this side pretty soon too, because again, it's corrosion. So I'm probably, and I try to find a new switch for this side, but they're out of stock. I went to the website, try to order the parts, they're out of stock. They had this one in stock, but they didn't have this in stock. So I need to have to wait some, maybe in the future or something, whatever. But anyways, I'm like, when I do the clean thing, try to clean anything on this, I'm also gonna, if it works, I'm also gonna do it on this side, even though this side probably doesn't need it right now. But since this whole piece is off to take off this switch, I might as well do it with this side as well. And on mine, when mine happened, if I could recall right, on my first scooter, I think it happened on the light first, then it happened on the kill switch. So on this bike, the kill switch happened first before the light did. So let's see, what else did I place? I think that's it. Those are the only two switches that I replaced, here and here. My starter was okay, if I can remember right, on my old one, and my hard one is okay, and this was okay. So it was basically just the toggle switches on these two. But one thing I want to make note of, for the kill switch, I never use the kill switch. When I turn it on and off the bike, I always use the key. So I just leave it on the on position all the time, maybe that could possibly affect the corrosion on here. But I don't think so though, because on my light switcher here, I use it all the time because I ride it at night all the time. So I use back, low beam and high beam all the time, and it still, it still had that problem with the corrosion on this side. Whereas this side, I always leave it on. So I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just the corrosion over time. Because there is a lot of power that goes through here, through the switch. Same with this. There's a lot of power that goes through the switch, and I think part of that, when the current goes through, between the points where they touch, it's not really that solid. It's a very small point where they touch. So right at that point, electricity is going through that spot right there, and because they're not really solid together, they're just touching. That spot was basically, it's like a resistance point, so it heats up more than if it was solid. So heat accelerates chemical reaction. So corrosion is basically a chemical reaction. So that spot where it connects, that's why I think it corrodes faster, because there's always power there basically. So when this is on, there's always power there. When this is on, there's always power on that side. When this is on right here, there's always power running through it. So basically, when the bike's on, there's always power running through that little that switch right there. That's why when you disconnect the switch, no more power. It kills the engine. So I hope that explains it. And I think I did a video in the past. I can't remember. It was a few years ago on these switches, on switching them out. If I did that, I won't make another video doing that. If I didn't do that, I'm gonna look back actually. If I didn't do it, I'm gonna make a video on this, and it's real quick, real easy to do. The hardest thing is just to take this out, and that's only a few screws. Let's see what else with this. I think that's it. All right, thanks for watching.